And then the orange algae-looking substance is synovitis. And the synovitis, see some down here? We took a biopsy sample to send to the pathologist, and they'll look at it underneath the microscope. See it right here? Because there are some instances where people create more of that lining tissue than they should. Now, this area right here, see that? I should not be able to look through that space. That is the rotator cuff tear. So that's what we had to repair. We take this shaver to take out some of that inflamed lining tissue. That device is kind of like a blade that rotates on the end of a vacuum cleaner extension device. So that's what we're doing with this. And then we repaired your rotator cuff, and the way we do that is we put these anchors into the bone. So right here is an anchor into the bone, and out of that anchor is sutures, and those sutures are high molecular polyethylene. So it's kind of like spider wire fishing line. You know, it's braided and super strong. And we use that to repair the rotator cuff. So here's an anchor going in. See
That's
it right
just what
there?
you were telling me about. Yeah.
So before, see how there's a gap and we can look down into the joint? See how I can look down into it? I shouldn't be able to see into the joint. And then after, we've got it pulled over and we've closed that gap. And we had still one area in the back that we needed to put a fourth anchor in, back here. Right there, see that? So we put one more anchor right there to close the rest of it up. And now the rotator cuff is pulled over and pulled down to your dome.
Neat.
I got to ask the question. Did you have to use any cadaver parts for this?
No, we did not. And that was something that we talked about beforehand. And I was a little bit worried about using cadaver because of all that synovitis that we saw. Synovitis tissue is really your body telling some tissue to make more of itself, and your immune system responding to change. So everybody's immune system is somewhere on a bell-shaped curve, with some people being straight in the middle of that curve and being pretty average in terms of how reactive their immune system is. Alternatively, some people are hyporeactive, meaning they don't respond to a whole lot of stuff. Their immune system's a little bit lazy, so to speak. And some people are hyperreactive, and their immune system really responds to a whole lot of things. And that synovium made me think that your immune system may be a little bit hyperreactive. And the reason that's important is because with allograft tissue, some people's system sees it and even kind of just chews it up, kind of just gets it out of there, so to speak. Some people's immune system, their immune system is probably hyperactive. And some people's immune system integrates it in and it's not a problem. And it's hard to know which side of the fence people are on until they're in a situation where they get a graft tissue put into them. So if we could avoid it, it's better for you. I wanted to avoid it at all costs if able. And we were able to. We were able to repair your cuff. The easy part's, the surgery. Now the hard part's the rehab from here in. Because the next 6 weeks we got to support it with this sling. That sling's taking all tension off of that rotator cuff repair. If we're down with our elbow at our side, there's tension on our cuff repair. If we're supported, there's tension off our cuff repair. So it's important to be supported at all times. With that in mind, I want you to stay away from these exercises where people tell you to let your arm dangle and like you're stirring a pot. Do this. We call these pendulums. I'd like for you to stay away from pendulums for 6 weeks and instead do table slides. And table slides are if you have it supported by the table and just sliding it out in front of you. For that reason, for the first 6 weeks, I'm okay if we kind of go sparse with the physical therapy. Maybe go once a week. Because sometimes the physical therapist will get ahead of us. You know what I mean? So just once a week is fine. Where are we going to work with the therapist? What therapy department?
Select PT in Pine Forest is where this was sent.
Does that work?
Yeah, that's not too far from where we live.
On that prescription, I'll show you. We purposely write supported motion only for 6 weeks, table slides. So no pendulums. Does that make sense?
Yes.
just 1 to 2 times per week. I'm going to put it in red, no pendulums. Because pendulums, I think, stress the system a little too much too soon. Does that make sense? Sling pretty much at all times. It's kind of a pain when you sleep. You have to either sleep in a recliner. That'll be fine. Incisions, keep them dry for about 2 weeks. So waterproof dressings do that fine.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to have the waterproof dressings on them and take a shower and then change the dressings after that, that's fine.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Question?
I mean, I have had literally no pain. Like I have a little something right now, but
That's the grand scheme. That's perfect if you have no pain. The blocks do a great job. I was wiggling, moving my fingers. You feel me touching your fingers in all locations? If you're having no pain, that's the goal. And the block's doing its job.
I mean,
We know when the blocks aren't working.
I bet.
Because people aren't just sitting there smiling at me the next day. And they're usually growling at me.
Wow.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, I was numb pretty much all night. And this morning I was like, hey, I can wiggle my finger.
You're going to do well.
Yeah.
Let it heal in the sling. We'll check you at the 2-week and the 6-week time period. Keep an eye on
Okay.
it. Sound good?
Yes, sir.
Need anything